talking about beauty today,
Way up.
and we're also talking this quarter, this season, about medicine. What does that mean? You heard lots of different songs about beauty today, and we also have songs still coming about beauty. And all this summer we've been talking about medicine. I'm sure Mike has a lot to say about medicine. He certainly does right now because he's recovering from a torn retina, and I've had that, and it's for a guy like him to be sitting still and not be here this Sunday. I'm sure he's just chomping at the bit, but I'm happy he's healing, and I'm happy to be here for him. So, we're going to come back. Hey, Ray, you want to take it all out? We're going to come back to this song at the end, at the meditation. So, were you listening? You got it now, right? Good. All right. Because I'm going to be talking during the meditation like I usually do, and I'm not going to be able to help you, but Bobby and Ray are going to take care of us. And just like the guys in the back take care of us, usually when I come up, I try to come up singing and stuff like that, and I hate watching myself on video or whatever, but I decided to watch, because I was watching one of Mike's sermons, and then I decided to watch my own, and that was a really big mistake. Like that particular week, for some reason I'm sitting there in my little cubbyhole, and I was feeding back on everybody, and I could hear myself literally in the piano, and it was terrible. So I said, oh, I'll just move forward a couple feet. If you move forward a couple feet, you have no monitor. Anybody ever sing with headsets on? Okay, so that's what I sounded like on the video. All right, so these guys record it, and so you may not hear me singing horribly and out of tune, but if you're on the video, let's just say all was not beautiful. I think that joke only works if you are a Westerner. The idea of beauty in the indigenous world is such that joke would not work. Because literally, achetem najoni, all is beautiful. That means me singing my heart out, totally out of tune, is considered to be beautiful. You see, there is not a dualistic idea in a lot of cultures. And by a lot of cultures, I mean non-linear, non-Western, non-Greco, Hellenistic, non-Christian, European cultures. We tend to be dualistic. There's just lots and lots of songs about beauty, and so Ray and I talk all week, and have phone calls, and we brainstorm about different songs and stuff like that. One of the songs that came up in my mind was "Tale as Old as Time." Anybody know that song? Okay, so we have the kids coming here today, and they would know that song, and so I won't make you sing it. But it's Beauty and the Beast. That story works because beauty is so beautiful and the beast is so horrible and ugly. That doesn't work in a lot of cultures. the beast is as beautiful as beauty. She, of course, sees that. And that's what the flip is that makes that work. But in other cultures, they would think, of course he's beautiful. That's what beasts are. They're beautiful, right? Our definitions of things are not the same as they are all over the world. And by all over the world, I mean, we think of ourselves as the majority culture. But there are literally billions of people who don't see things the way we see them. So let me take the example of medicine. So we've been talking about medicine, right? And so as Westerners, we think of medicine like a medicine wheel. And we think like, you spin the medicine wheel, oh, I'm going to take beauty, and I'm going to take a little bit of spirit, and I'm going to take a little bit of patience, and we think the world is out there, and it's a buffet for us. All these concepts and things are things that we can just pick and choose. And we can buy these things, like we buy pharmacological medicine. But the rest of the world, the indigenous world, the ancient world, the Asian world, doesn't see it that way. They are archetypal peoples. Anybody know what that means? My teachers are indigenous teachers, but they are also, a lot of them are highly educated. Dr. Mary Loomis was one of my teachers. While she's a traditional grandmother, she's also one of the most famous psychoanalysts in the world. She's one of the most famous Jungians in the world, and she finished Jung's 3-part wheel and made it into a 4-part indigenous wheel, and her work is what we look at when we look at medicine today. So if I know anything about medicine, it's because of her, and because she introduced me to the medicine men and the medicine women of the native tribes and bands and peoples of the United States and of Mexico and of Central America. And while they're all different, they're not homogenous, they don't speak the same languages, they have certain things in common because they come from a root of seeing things differently than we Westerners do. Medicine is one of those things. In their world, your medicine is a unique thing you are born with that is your thing throughout your life. And if you don't know your medicine, as Westerners, a medicine man would put you out on a ceremony so you could discover your medicine. I lived in the Black Hills of South Dakota for many, many years, and I would go down to Hot Springs and became great friends with many, many of the old medicine men, and so became very involved on Pine Ridge. You've probably heard of Pine Ridge. So that's called the Oglala Oyate, and that is the people that are the kind of Lakota that live around that area, and all over. And so their idea of medicine is something unique that you are given. And when you get that idea of the medicine that is you and is your life's work and is your mission, you get a medicine name. All right? So I have a medicine name, a Lakota medicine name. I'm not exactly proud of it. I worked with the VA and in Hot Springs and met many medicine men, and I started to sweat because I was one of the two people, along with Clarissa Pinkola Estes. You might have read her book, and you probably didn't read my book. Is Why are you laughing? And the thing that we were doing was we were making it possible for all of the people in the VA to sweat because they were not allowed to, because only ministers could come in and minister to the people who were living in the VA, like the old veterans home. But all the old veterans were all Lakota and Nakota and Dakota and Yankton Sioux. And so they couldn't practice their own religion because their religion wasn't recognized by the government. And the same thing in the prisons. So what I did was, I went to my old teacher, who is a woman named Zoni, who's a Navajo. I used to live over in Arizona and New Mexico. And I was a member of the Peyote Church, the Native American church, because I was enrolled with the Navajo singers, and so I was trained as a singer, all right? That doesn't mean I was trained to be a good singer. It means I know a bunch of words. But because they're actually a recognized religion, the Peyote Church was recognized by the Supreme Court in a huge case that they won that took them years to win. We were able to charter the Lakotas, the Nakotas, and Dakotas in the VA as a church. So we created a church, and I was the president of their church, and we did the same thing in the prison. So that's how I became involved with them. And so I have my medicine name from a very famous medicine man who's the last living medicine man who was a student of Leonard Crowdog, who was the medicine man at Wounded Knee, and Vincent Blackfeather and all the old guys. We would all go and we would sweat together. And so all the old guys would sweat, and they were all diabetics, and I was a diabetic too, and so they, the way they do it is like they all go, and before they go into the sweat lodge, they all pee in a jar, and then they go and do their sweat, and then to rehydrate, they all go out there and they drink their pee. And first time I ever saw that, and I thought, okay, I'm not going to sweat with you guys anymore. These guys are hilarious, and they love the fact that this was freaking me out. One day, I'm over there, and I'm wearing this shirt, right? And so they all belong to what's called an Akasita. Akasita is the warrior society, because they're all veterans, right? And so they love the fact that, A, I'm not a veteran, and that they called me a fake Indian because I'm Indonesian. So I look like an Indian, and I used to have really long hair back then, like down to here. Well, there was nothing in the front, and it was like an extreme mullet. And so I would go, and because I was the president of the church now, I would go and I would sweat with these guys, and I got used to doing what they were doing, and it made sense because, they would like get all their electrolytes. It was like making your own Gatorade. And so, if you're offended by this, wait till you hear what I'm about to say. I came in one day, and I'm wearing one of my favorite old T-shirts. It was like, literally, I have T-shirts that are, ask my wife, 20-year-old T-shirts. I wear them. I don't wear them out, but I wear them out. And so this was one of my favorite T-shirts. It was an iconic T-shirt of Che Guevara, right? And it says Che underneath, right? You've all seen this T-shirt. and he's like a famous revolutionary. And I thought, oh, I'm going to wear my Che shirt because all of these warriors, they're going to love this shirt. And so I come in, I'm wearing my shirt, and they all look at my shirt, and they're like, Vincent Blackfeather looks at me, and he goes, oh, I really like your shirt. Now, in Lakota and Dakota and almost all of the native world, when somebody says, I really like your shirt, that means, oh, thank you. But when they say, I really like your shirt, the correct thing to do is you take off your shirt and you give it to them. So he gives me this beautiful buck knife, handmade, I thought, this is a good trade. Except all the other warriors are like, we really like your shirt too. Okay, so the next month I come over there, I've got 10 shirts. There's 20 guys, because they know they're getting a shirt. I ended up buying 20 shirts. Vincent Blackfeather says to me, you know, that's your medicine. And from now on, your medicine name is Shegleshka. And I say in my best Lakota, because I know 10 words, I say, Washte, which means good. And everybody laughs. And they're wearing their Che shirts and whatever. And my new medicine name is Shegleshka. And so I'm wearing my shirt, and I come back to the VA, and I go up to American Horse. Dave American Horse is the grandson of American Horse, who was the last shirt wearer. Sitting Bull and Crazy Horse and American Horse were the last 3 shirt wearers. They didn't have chiefs or anything, but they were the ones that the people had voted as the representatives of what it means to be a human. And so they represented that, and American Horse, Dave American Horse, was the grandson of American Horse, and he was one of the most respected medicine men on the reservation, except that he was living in a trailer outside of the VA because, like everybody, he was a diabetic. And he looks at my T-shirt and says, I really like your shirt. Off comes the shirt. American Horse looks at me and he says, I don't have anything to give you except a little advice. I said, what's that? He goes, you know what medicine names are? I said, yeah. He goes, it's the thing that divines, because he goes, I'm not a medicine man, really. I'm a language teacher. That's what he would tell people. I teach about the Lakota language and in ways that you can't find on the internet. He hated the internet. And he said, so I want to give you a little advice in exchange for this beautiful T-shirt. I heard you got a new medicine name, Chegleshka. And he said, yeah. He said, you know what that means? He said, yeah, like I'm little Che, I'm a warrior. He's like, oh, no. In Lakota, Che means penis. You are little penis. That's my way of illustrating what medicine means. So now you know my medicine. The idea, as I've learned, is it was a joke to all of them, but also, over the years I realized that what he meant by that was that the medicine of humility, the medicine of humor, the medicine of not taking yourself seriously, and all of those things, were in the puns and the layers and the humor and the things that really do define who I am. We all have medicines. A people, the Lakota, the Oglala in the south, have a different medicine than the rosebud in the north. And each person, up in Rosebud, because I used to hunt dinosaurs up in Rosebud. I'll tell you dinosaur stories someday. But up in Rosebud, right now, they're doing the fires for one of their enrolled tribal members. And the fire celebrates the life and the medicine of a person who his Dakota name, the Dakotas up in Rosebud, was also Gleshka, and his name was Little Dogs, and he recently died, and so they light a fire, and people are coming literally from all over the country to sit at his fires. And you sit at night, and people bring tobacco and throw it in the fire, and they pray for his soul. And so Little Dogs is being feted, is being remembered and venerated and honored right now, but they're also honoring his life. And while he went to school for economics, and while he also became famous in the world, it is his medicine name that they are also mostly venerating. Little Dogs. Does anybody know who that is? Little Dogs is Bob Barker. So Bob Barker, who came as close to 100 as you could without going over. That joke is all over Facebook. I love it so much. Bob Barker was an enrolled member of the Lakota and the Rosebud Reservation. He grew up on the Rosebud Reservation. And his medicine was Little Dogs. So his medicine was not Truth or Consequences. His medicine was not The Price is Right. His medicine was to save animals. Make sure your dogs and cats are neutered and spayed. He would end a game show saying that. It was his life's work, his mission, his medicine. The Oglala have different medicine than on Rosebud. And a city can have a medicine. Evidently, Grand Rapids medicine is beer. I don't know that you get to choose your medicine. Unity Church is based around the medicine of unity. So, the Lakota and the Nakota and the Dakota and the Yankton and the Siouan tribes, the ones that are in the plains, their medicine is their religion. Their entire religion is based around one word, one phrase, mitakuyasin. Mitakui oyasin. We are all related. One prayer, all my relations. We are all related. I am related to you. You are related to me. All things are related. All things in the earth are related. Relations, relationship. That's their medicine. That's the whole of their religion. You want to get out of the sweat lodge? All my relations. You want to get into the sweat lodge? All my relations. You want to pray? All my relations. That's their medicine. And if you think about it, there are many, many, many ways to use that phrase. I spent a lot of times, as I said, in New Mexico and Arizona with the Navajo and the Hopi as well. And they're actually related, and they're also traditional enemies. But the Navajo, who call themselves the Dene means the people, humans, you know. And the word Navajo or Nabiho is an epithet. They were called that, but partially because they are actually from Central America. They came up and they went up out of Arizona and New Mexico, and they went up into Canada, and they went over to as far as the East Coast, and then they came back. And they came back after hundreds of years, changed, speaking an Algonquian language. So the Algonquian languages are what they speak here. So the people here call themselves Anishinaabe, right? The Anishinaabeks. And so the Navajo are also, when you say Nabiho, that you're saying you're of the people. Anishinaabe is the people as well. Dene, they call themselves the people, right? And so when they say, I'm the people, sometimes they're like, I'm the people and you're not, you know. The idea around that is that the Dene also have a word that defines their whole religion. It defines their way of life. It defines their worldview and how they look at things. That word is Najoni. And so you hear people say Najoni or Najone, right? You can say either Najoni. It's sort of the in between those two pronunciations, Najoni. And it means beauty. Their religion is called the Beauty Way. That's called the Beauty Way chant. And so their prayer is the prayer of beauty, is walking the way of beauty. May beauty walk in front of you. May beauty walk beside you. May beauty walk behind you. May beauty walk above you. May beauty walk below you. May beauty walk inside of you. That's the prayer. And it means many, many, many things. Beauty does not mean physical beauty. Beauty does not mean the beauty of riches and what you wear. Beauty means balance. Beauty means compassion. The Navajo and the Hopi are as close to the Tibetans and the Nepali as any two cultures can be. And their idea of beauty is so wrapped into the idea of their compassion and their relationship to all things, and that all things have this essential quality and noun of beauty, but also the verb of beauty. It is the walk of the beauty that they are interested in. And so the song that we started with, All is Beautiful, is the song of our meditation today. But before we go into the meditation, I want to take this not in an esoteric sense about, oh, that's interesting what these indigenous people do and those indigenous people do. And this is not a paleontologist, because I'm not, well, I am a paleontologist actually, but I study dinosaurs. So the thing is, and I've never made a penny, by the way, with my degree. The idea of this is that what I'm saying to you should have meaning to you. Okay? So, in the sense of this church, unity, what is the medicine of unity? Right? The historical medicine of the congregational movement in the 1800s created this idea of unity. And this particular brand of Christianity and universalism and Unitarianism, all medicines, all saying we are all related. There is one God for all of us. We are all part of that one God. I want you to think about what unity means to you and why you might be here or might want to come back here if this is your first time. I am welcomed by this church. I am a pagan minister. I am a conchante of Haitian Vodou. And I am a Babalao of Yoruba, African. But I am welcome here because this is unity. And so I want you to think about us as a group here, but also what's your medicine? I don't mean what's your job. I don't mean what's your education. I mean, why are you here? Why did you come here today? Maybe to hear me tell a couple dirty jokes? Or to reflect on yourself. So I'm going to end here because I know the children are coming and we've got backpacks to bless. And boy, if you are in part of GRPS, you have no idea what a metaphor and symbol and the medicine of backpacks have become. Don't get me started. So bless their backpacks and bless you for listening. I'm going to teach you a song. And so can I get a beat? Oh wait. Achetem najoni. Achetem najoni. Achetem najoni. Wea. Achetem najoni. Achetem najoni. Achetem najoni. Way up, 2, 3, 4. Way up. Achetem najoni. Achetem najoni. Achetem najoni. Way up, way up. Keep singing. Achetem Achetem najoni. Achetem najoni. Way up, way up, 3, 4, way up. All is beauty. All is beauty. All walk before you. And may beauty walk behind you in all 7 generations that are to come. And may beauty walk to the right of you, all your brothers, and to the left of you, all your sisters. And above you, all that have gone before you, your ancestors, and below you, all of the things of the earth, all is beauty. And most of all, may beauty be inside of you, and may beauty be who you are, and may you be filled with beauty, and may your beauty give you compassion for all other things that are beautiful and that you are a part of. Because if you are beauty, and I am beauty, and we are beauty, then we are all one. We are all beautiful, and we are all together. Beauty. Namaste. Walk in unity. And forget about that whole medicine name thing I told you about. Thank you for your attention. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bill.